How we doing, folks? Josh here with Hardy's Exotic Reptile Emporium. And we're here at REPTICON in Asheville, North Carolina. And it's been a great show so far. A lot of great vendors here, a lot of good customers, a lot of great conversations had. Weekend's kind of winding down a little bit though. So figure go ahead and get another tank built up. We did one yesterday, I live on stream, so let's get another one done today. For you, we're gonna have another 12x12x18 EXOTERRA mini tall. We're gonna go ahead and just use the foam insert background that the tank comes with. Don't really have time in 20-30 minute window to do a whole special background, unfortunately. We also got all the stuff that we're gonna put in it right here. Our substrate, drainage layers, some leaf litter, screen mesh, charcoal, some pebbles, live moss, lots of plants, and the hardscape we're going to use. For that, we got some cork, and we got some dragonwood. All right, let's get the camera set up and go ahead and get started. And if y'all have any questions along the way, feel free to go ahead and interject. Now we're going to take that off. Yeah, it just comes with the tanks when you go buy them over there. EXOTERRA tanks come with those little foam inserts. Yeah, let's put that guy right there, huh? All right, so these doors, real simple, they come off. It's a little awkward the way I have this position yesterday to do it with these lights and everything. But all I gotta do is push down right here and lift up on the door. And it just kind of pops out of the spots it's hooked into. Same thing with the other one. I think this is the side I was having a hard time getting to. There we go. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started on our drainage layer. For that, we're going to use Leica clay pebbles. It's a great drainage layer option. It's very lightweight. It actually is porous, so it holds water well. Creates nice little beneficial area for beneficial bacteria to grow. That's going to help keep the terrarium fresh. Usually I'd recommend rinsing these off real good and giving them a good soak. I'll let them absorb some water up, but unfortunately we're limited with what we have available to do here at the show. I'd recommend rinsing everything off before you put it in your tank. But again, as I said, we're limited with what we've got available here. I did make sure I got stuff from everybody that I trust, and whatever I didn't purchase from somebody else, it's my own products. The tank is actually from one of the vendors here, one of the dry goods vendors, feeder source, over there towards the front. All right, so on top of your drainage there, actually missed it down just a little bit. Oops. I swear, Chad, I did not mean to do that, but I hope you guys had a good little ride. All right. So on top of our drainage there, we're gonna have a screen mesh. It's gonna help keep the substrate from falling through, so you can kind of keep your layers separated. And for that, we're just gonna use window screen. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Some people like to use weed liners, but in my experience, the weed liners, they don't allow water to flow through very well. Usually you want to have your screen to be a little bigger than enclosure. You want it to kind of come up the side some. All right. We mess with that all day with my OCD, but we're just gonna have to kind of try and move on here. On top of your screen mesh, we're gonna do charcoal. Just some hardwood charcoal. So charcoal is great for the terrarium. It's gonna help keep the air fresh as it's flowing through it. It's gonna help keep the water filtered as it's flowing up and down through the water cycle that we're creating with the drainage layer. It's gonna be beneficial nutrients for your plants. If you're a gardener, put charcoal in your garden. It's great. I think the gardening term for charcoal these days is biochar, but it's just charcoal. Let's be honest, folks. All right, I think I get that about it. I want it. Top of the charcoal, we do substrate. For me, I'm just using my own blend. And I like to keep it a little separated like it is in the bag, but we're gonna make sure we mix it up real good. I just separate it because I think it looks fancy in the bag that way. All right. I'm also gonna take a little bit of the sphagnum away. See if I can't use some of that to help decorate something later. Like I said, we're just gonna mix it all in real good. If you get a little bit of charcoal mixed in with it, that's fine too. Some people like to mix their charcoal in with their substrate. I just think it's better to layer it all. Once you're satisfied with the mixture you've done, when you put it in, you want to make sure you slope your substrate towards the back. It helps give it a more aesthetic peel the way you do it that way. Gives it a definition to the terrarium. And you can even kind of slope some of it more to one side than the other to help kind of give it more of that natural terrain look. So usually you're shooting an inch is minimum. The deeper the substrate is beneficial for certain animals, certain plants and stuff. Yeah, usually it's about an inch for your drainage layer, about an inch for your substrate. Some people get up to 2 inches. Back here on this wall, we've probably got 2 inches back here in the corner here. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is our hardscape. For that, we've got a piece of cork bark. It's actually okay the way it is. Usually I like to try and make them look a little cooler, but this one's got a nice little broken open already. Just gonna kind of bury him in a little bit. I think I like them in the middle. I don't remember now. I have them set up kind of maybe off to the side a little. Yeah. Definitely play around with your hardscape before you get settled with how you're placing it. Make sure you're happy with how you're doing it. I kind of fiddled with it a little bit before I started the stream. So then we got a couple pieces of dragonwood. And this guy in this corner here. It was what was available at the show. These pieces of wood and the plants that I got are actually from Frog Daddy over here. He's got a great selection of dart frogs, some botanical stuff, some bioactive stuff. Does a lot of the same similar things I do, but he also has plants and he carries the hardscape that I don't. I should have put this guy in first. Maybe that's what I had done. There we go. There we go. I had to put that guy in first. And you can even take with this foam background, kind of push your hardscape up into it some. Help get it looking a little more natural. Make it a little more secure as well. I know I'm blocking all of this with my arm, realizing. All right, and then this one, I have to take the top off. It's a little bit of a pain to get in otherwise. Something like that. You can play with all your wood. You're gonna get it in there situated. Be happy with it before you do it. Get the hardscape in there just right. Because remember, we're not doing this again. And pack some substrate around it so it's all settled in well. Usually I have a little tool to kind of pack the substrate down some. All right. Go ahead and put that top back on. I don't need it off anymore. All right. So after that, we're gonna do some plants. That's where we're at now. Some plants. Give everything a little bit of a spray down real quick. Oh, we need leaves. Duh. For the leaf litter today, I'm just using some pin oak, but any hardwood leaves works just fine. I have several different options. There's lots of different options within the hobby. How y'all doing? If y'all need any help or anything, just let me know. I am live streaming. I'll crumple some of them up. Keep some of them a little more solid. So it's going to be aesthetic pleasing because you see leaf litter on your floor out in the forest. But it's also for beneficial purposes. The leaves are going to get broken down by the isopods and springtails, and then that's going to become nutrients for your plants. And also create a place for your isopods to hide in case you've got something like a crested gecko that might like to eat some isopods from time to time. So they have somewhere to be and not all get eaten all at once. Leaves from your own yard are totally fine. Depending on who you ask, some would tell you just to get them out of the yard and throw them right in the tank. For me, I like to sanitize them, especially because I supply them to the public. So I'm from Florida. I just put them in a black tote out in the Florida sun for a couple weeks. They get plenty baked out there. I'm also mixing in some of these leaves. They get plenty baked out there in the sun, but you can bake them in the oven. You can, some people boil them. I think that's a terrible idea, but some people boil them. Some people just nuke them in the microwave. A lot of different options. So mix some of those leaves in there because that'll help create voids and crevices for some of the plants to start taking root, and also for most of the isopods and springtails that have kind of like a network of tunnel systems. All right, I think we're good there. And start planting. So we're gonna start with the bigger plants that go in the back and work our way towards the front. Again, I got all these from Frog Daddy over here set up next to me. Both up in one corner. Both up in another corner. Or do we want a one each? Think both up. Think both up. Yeah. So these are nice little plugs that Alex at Frog Daddy makes. They grow these in house. They have a nice little greenhouse indoors and everything. They have a really cool whole setup over there at Frog Daddy. Maybe I can reach in there better from this angle. I really wanted to plant one back here, but gosh, I looked at this wood. I don't have my tongs with me. Usually I'd have little tongs to do this. My little terrarium kit with all my cool little fun terrarium tools. There we go. There we go. Let's get in there. So kind of stick that guy in the corner a little bit. Make sure he opens back up. Look like he's always kind of grown back there. All right. We'll put the shorter one a little more closer to the front because that'll what will make the design look a little better. I'm just kind of pushing them down on the substrate, kind of smushing the plugs a little bit because the roots are really packed in there. These two kind of put together in this back corner, I think. Like that. Some of the benefits of doing a bioactive setup is it's way better to look at than just a box with some paper towels at the bottom or something simple like that. It's going to be way more, way better for your animal. They're going to get a lot of enrichment from having an actual natural environment to live in, especially with cleanup crew in there like isopods and stuff. It's got little frogs and whatnot that might come across them from time to time to find themselves a little meal. Again, creating natural behaviors is a lot funner. It's a lot more fun to watch natural behaviors from your animals. I don't remember what all these plants are called. I know this one I think is like an aluminum plant or something they call it. Put this one in the front here. don't know, guys. Stand up. Look pretty. There we go. I'm in Orange City, near Daytona, Florida. Not really local to here. Nice little 8-hour drive up. It's that. The only thing that would be not in there would be the bark at the bottom. Is I don't put that in my isopod setups. I just use that for the more bioactive. It gives helps give more stuff for the plants to grow and whatnot with the bark in there, and then creates voids for the cleanup crew. All right, got 2 more plants. These guys are some nice floor covering. They'll really cover the ground cover a lot. Spread them around a little bit. I was kind of breaking up these plugs as I'm putting them in. Should have packed dirt in around them well. All right, then we got some live moss. Just pincushion moss. You want to kind of break your moss up. In reality, the better way to do it would be to take some scissors and cut your moss into pieces. Every time you injure moss in this fashion and cut it like that, it tells itself it needs to repair a little bit so it grows a little faster. I really expert level to grow moss would even be to put it straight into a blender, blend it to a puree, and then you would mix in either buttermilk or yogurt, and the enzymes in those would make the spores in the moss just go crazy, and you would just paint the material and whatever you wanted to grow on. I've personally never done it. I've seen it done. I've seen plenty of people do it. I just got 1,000 other things in my life going on besides trying to grow some moss. And then I'm just kind of putting it around a little bit everywhere. It's not always going to like exactly where you place it. Some pieces may take off, some may not. Well, the ones that don't, they'll just kind of become part of the biomass for the isopods and everything to eat. And you can sort of smush it in real good. This one's got a nice little bit of I think it's liverwort that's on there. It's a lichen, lichen. All right, got that. Get some stones in there. Help kind of make it look a little more natural. For that, we just got some pink quartz, or pink marble, I mean. Maybe it is quartz. Is it quartz? Marble, right? No, it is quartz. It's probably the same thing, right? It's the same thing. No real rhyme or reason on where I'm putting them. Just wherever I feel like I need to have a couple stones. How we doing? Doing well. Dropping rocks everywhere. All right. You want to make sure you're selective about where you get your plants. Make sure you're trusting who you get your plants from. You know, don't just maybe go get random plants from Walmart, for example. I usually like to get my plants from vendors of these shows. A lot of the vendors of these shows, if they're not already getting them directly from a nursery themselves or are a nursery, they're growing them at home. They're putting in the effort to really make sure they're producing a good plant, bringing a good plant to the show. I said Josh's frogs are. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Josh's frogs. Frog Daddy over here, he grows all of his plants in house. He's got like whole greenhouses inside. He's got whole massive rooms full of dart frogs, all greenhouse out and everything. It's amazing place, amazing place. All right. Next, we're gonna do some botanicals. For that, we've got a few random things: some puka pods, acorn caps. And then we'll even do a magnolia seed pod and a lotus pod. And just how it would be in nature, these guys would just randomly fall, so I'm not going to try and be super specific about where I have them fall. Just gonna let it happen the way it happens. For my fans out there that are creeped out by holes, I can't remember what that thing's called, that syndrome or whatever. I'm kind of stick that guy right down the ground, and he'll kind of look like a little shrub or something. All right. Go ahead and give it a little spray down. The more you take care of these terrariums, especially in the first month, we go through a couple different processes. One of them is called mold phase, because we're wetting all this wood that's been dried out forever. The wood's going to start to mold a little bit. It's totally safe for your animal, totally harmless. Your cleanup crew, the springtails specifically, are going to help take care of it and break it all down. That's going to be their main food source is mold, mildew, and fungus. It depends on the animal you're putting in. If it's something like a dart frog, especially a high-end dart frog that's very sensitive and whatnot, you would definitely want to wait until you introduce your main inhabitant. If it's something bigger that's going to uproot plants and be a nuisance in that manner, again, you want to wait a while for your plants to root in. But for a lot of animals, a lot of little frogs, a lot of crested geckos and stuff that aren't really going to spend a whole lot of time on the floor, it's totally fine. You can set this up today and put them in there. They are fine to go through the mold stage. It's not going to be harmful to them. The other thing you go through is the melting phase. Sometimes some of these plants just aren't going to all go. One of them might melt away. We kind of define it. You all set? All right. You know, put your springtails right inside here. Cash your card. 25. That's all right. I got change. Thank you much. Thank you much. Y'all enjoy the rest of the show. All right. So we got all that. The only other thing we need to include currently is the springtails. I don't put my isopods in right away because I like to let my customers decide which isopods they want to have in their terrarium. These are calcium-bearing clay substrate. They're usually exploding with springtails, so we're just going to steal a little bit from a couple of them. I make these by the hundreds. I supply them to a lot of different vendors. So these are something you would use if you want to keep on producing springtails. This is like a way to keep producing them right inside these cups indefinitely. I've had customers have these going for a couple of years. I've had other people tell me they've had them going for longer than that. You just kind of keep the cup, put it on the shelf, and you just kind of take care of the cup randomly. I usually go through my cups every few weeks or so, mist them a little bit as needed, add some rice in there. The rice turns to mold, they eat the mold. All right, let's get the lid back on. So there's a lot of different options. Most isopods are going to be fine. They're all going to do kind of the same thing. Just some are a little more novelty. Some are a little more if you don't really want your animal to eat them because they're expensive. And then some, because they are expensive, they don't produce as well, which is why they are expensive. I was going to put some of this in here, but you know what? I think that I'm happy with everything already. I think that I might muddy it up if I try to do more. I think that's going to be just about it for this guy. Get these doors back on. Try and tidy up the area a little bit. I also have this little skull here. I've got a video, little short on my channel. Just kind of a reveal video, really. All right, so the doors go back on just kind of the same way they came off. Put the top in first. There's this little grooves that the notches go into. Push down on the bottom, lift up, and then we kind of go to the side a little bit and then come back. Same thing for the other one. There we go. I think that's all set, chat. Hope you all enjoyed it. But I'm going to get my ass back to work. Deuces.